Let me ask you a quick question, if I may. How the have I not made a video about Monkey Wrench yet? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Monkey Wrench is genuinely one of the best ongoing indie animation projects, and it needs all the love, attention, and support it can get. This isn't the Foo Fighters song, as amazing as that is. No, these are the adventures of Shrike Sanchez and his partner in crime, Beebs, aka BB, real name Bulldog Browns. Shrike's a squid dude who can pull things out of the back of his head with a magic gem, while Beebs is an absolute unit of a space dad. He can pull a laser axe from his cybernetic shoulder like he's Rancic from Power Rangers Time Force. They're a pair of mercenaries working under the name Monkey Wrench, bouncing around from solar system to solar system on their ship, the Bucket, being hired hands and ascending some gamer leaderboard for mercenaries. That's the series' basic premise, seeing these two go on wild sci-fi adventures together while being a comedy double act. Beebs being the more reasonable and serious half, and Shrike being his foil, more silly and kind of an idiot. At the end of the day, however, both still want a decent payout. The main mind behind this series is Joshua Palmer, aka Zurl, whose body of animation work stretches back at least 15 years by now. You might recognize him from his Vinesauce animations, the Ollie and Scoop series, and possibly a little-known animation called Lardass, aka Shrike and Beebs' big debut from 2012. Yes, that is indeed Beebs and Shrike acting out a scene from Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke. As of the time I'm making this, Monkey Wrench has 3 episodes, all of which are available for free on the official Monkey Wrench YouTube channel and Zurl's Newgrounds page. Links will be in the description. It took only a few minutes of the show's first episode for me to get hooked on its characters. I love them all, and I don't know if I have a favorite. I've mentioned already that Shrike and Beebs form a comedy double act, but that's only scratching the surface of who they are as people. Honestly, the best way for me to explain who these two really are is to tell you to watch the series. See how they react to the situations they wind up in and the people they meet. But even scenes like their first appearance in episode 1 say a ton about them. To spell this scene out, the two are on the Bucket in orbit of a planet. Beebs is on the ship's bridge, watching the news and learning about Kara's assassination of that Chester guy from the cold open after he has to wake Shrike up. Shrike walks into Beebs feeling sorry for Chester, while Shrike shrugs and says that Chester had it coming, being a billionaire and a well-known government lobbyist. Little scenes like that go a long way to help define these characters. And it's fun to see these two's personalities playing off each other, getting into genuine conflicts regarding how to handle whatever situation they're in, and of course working together to solve problems. The show's writing and voice acting are also helping big time. Seriously, I don't know if I can imagine anyone other than Jacob Behrens voicing Shrike and Jean-Francois Donaldson voicing Beebs. Obviously, Shrike and Beebs aren't the only characters around. There's Scratch and his silent partner Scritch, a pair of cats who are also a mercenary duo, and a pair of cats I want to give massive hugs to. There's the space pirate queen Tyneen and her crew, including a Papyrus Undertale looking dude named Ricket, her first officer. There's the assassin Kara, also silent and communicating mainly through her agents, or possibly her contractor. Of all the characters in this show, she might be the closest to a main villain, and I want her mask. There isn't a whole lot to these side characters, many of whom were Shrike's friends or colleagues once upon a time and are now Monkey Wrench's enemies, but they're compelling and likable enough as they are. Even the one-off characters, like the Lithops from episode 2 and the Mushroom People, the Agari, us and them from episode 3 have tons of positives surrounding them. Oh yeah, about episode 3. That's really when the show overall started hooking me. Don't get me wrong, Monkey Wrench's first 2 episodes are plenty good enough as they are, but episode 3 was where things started truly clicking, coming together, particularly in the writing. Beebs and Shrike found their rhythm as characters, and there was some deeper storytelling, lore dropping, and world building with the Agari, their history, and their effects on the universe. Not to mention, we got to see Beebs and Shrike having a quiet moment together, some downtime after a hectic day at the office. That and the Lithop genocide from episode 2 were kind of unexpected, considering the first episode seemed to establish that this series would be more comedic instead of feelsy. Of course, episodes 2 and 3 have their fair share of comedic moments, but for a bit, it felt like the show was going to be just that for the most part. So, what is going on with the Agari? What's their big deal? Basically, humanity, or Terrans as they're called in the show, what is this, Star Trek's mirror universe? Created a massive cataclysm affecting the Agari, annihilating their civilization long ago. In the process, the Agari were transformed from a more peaceful society into a bunch of mindless drones bent on consuming all life in the galaxy that's not their own, and spreading their corruption wherever they go. The League of Aligned Worlds, or Law, established a quarantine zone comprising the entirety of Agari space, but occasionally the Agari seep out of the zone and need to be dealt with. I feel bad for them, I really do, both them referring to the character of that name and them referring to the Agari in general. I think it's pretty clear that not all Agari are mindless drones, implying that there's more going on than what we've learned so far. Maybe the Cataclysm was a complete accident, an accident resulting in humanity being labeled as evil and villainous among the peoples of the galaxy at large. These are more things I'm looking forward to in future episodes. Seeing more stories featuring us, again referring to the character of that name, and or the Agari, and learning more about how human beings are treated in this universe. Then there's the phenomenally stellar animation quality and art style, no pun intended. It's one aspect the show got right from episode 1, establishing its own identity from the get-go. The character design, how the animation tends to be. Maybe it's just me, but I can't help but feel like I'm watching something you might find on Adult Swim. That might be one of the best compliments I've given an indie animation project. The music is great, the theme song is an absolute earworm, and the incidental background music is pretty quality too. Props to Ackroyd for doing such a great job with the music here. There is one more thing I want to discuss in depth, and it's the chart that popped up at the very end of episode 3's credit sequence and the text that accompanied it. This is not about the pizza trying to hide within the chart. I wish it was, but alas. No, if anything, I took this as a reminder of all the work and effort that goes into making a large-scale project like Monkey Wrench, all the people involved in its production. It makes me wonder how much an episode of a show like Murder Drones costs to make. In any case, I love the comment that all indie animation projects, big and small, need to have tons of love and support thrown their way. And if there's something I love about the indie animation community, it's how supportive they are of each other's projects. Even in this show, there were references to Lackadaisy and Farfetch'd in episode 3. Gooseworks of the Amazing Digital Circus fame worked on sound design for the first 2 episodes, and voiced the character Us in episode 3. Senor Pelo of Spooky Month fame has also provided voices for this show, namely El Bandito from Strike's cartoons. I know I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but it's a pertinent reminder that these people and their works all need your support, especially a show like Monkey Wrench that's funded primarily through a Patreon account. If you can, please consider throwing some money in Monkey Wrench's direction. I'm sure Zero will thank you in due time. In case it wasn't absurdly clear by now, I friggin' love Monkey Wrench, and I cannot wait to see what comes next in episode 4. I love seeing Beebs and Shrike doing their thing, hopping across the galaxy and being best buds while kicking butt. I loved seeing the more developed world building and storytelling that episode 3 presented. Love the music, love the animation, and love the voices behind the characters. Monkey Wrench is friggin' awesome. I know I'm a broken record at this point, but I don't care. Go watch it 15 times in a row if you want. And again, do consider throwing some money in this show's direction. In any event, thank you for watching, take care of yourselves, and maybe not hop into that quarantine zone unless you really want to meet some mushroom people. I want to meet some mushroom people. Take us to the quarantine zone, please?